show you how to put together the 4mm operative and resection tray. It is very similar to the 2.9, so if you know how to put that together, this should also be pretty easy. This tray has 3 levels to it, unlike the 2.9. So your top tray is going to be your scopes, and then you have lots of pieces here and more pieces down at the bottom. So this one doesn't have the nice diagnostic scope or diagnostic sheet, so you have to put a couple pieces together for this. So you want to use your lens. This tray comes with a 12mm or a 12 degree and a 30 degree. For the most part, they always use the 30 degree. So you want to use that, and then on the bottom here, and sometimes these pieces are rearranged, what's on the bottom, what's on the top. You want this piece here, and then you need the outer sheath, which is this piece here. So start by putting those two together, and you can see you want to line up your tips there so you know which way they go together, but also you also want to line up your zeros. So you've got a 0 here and a line here, so those two pieces will slide together. And then you want to make sure you turn that piece there and lock it. And then you'll put your lens in. So again, your zeros are lined up here. Sometimes people struggle that if the lock is already locked, then you're not going to be able to put the lens in. So you just make sure that both of your lines are lined up there. And then again, this will just slide in the back here, and it will seat, and you want to lock it. So then this is ready to go. You're going to have inflow and outflow. There are arrows on there showing you which direction the fluid is flowing, so in and out. You've got a working channel here if you need to put graspers in that you want to make sure that you cover. It does have a like a stopcock here, but you also want to just put on one of these nipples here, and that just squeezes on there, and that way it doesn't leak out, and if they need to put a grasper through there, they can. So if they're using the graspers, it's going to be these two that come in the tray. You've got both this one is a cup biopsy forceps, and then you've also got your grasper with teeth. So whenever you insert these into your working channel, you want to make sure you hold it towards the tip here and just guide it through. And you see it come out the other end there. So once you're giving it to the surgeon, have that grasper pulled back a little bit so it doesn't get damaged when they insert it into the cervix. And yeah, if you try to insert it holding it at this end, it's hard to guide, and you can run the risk of bending and breaking your grasper in there. So always hold it towards the tip as you insert it in there. If they've done their diagnostic kind of look-see and they want to move to the actual resection part, you just need to take your lens from here, and you're going to use some other pieces from this tray. So exactly the same as the 2.9 tray, you're going to have your working element, an inner sheath, and an outer sheath. These two create a 26 French diameter, and with the 2.9 tray you have a 24 French diameter. So always start with your inner and outer sheath first. Again, you're going to look for your zeros and line those up, make sure that your lock is all the way open, and again you're going to find your 0 here. This tan piece is meant to move and rotate, so as they're going through the procedure they can rotate 360 without having to change their handpiece. So you want to make sure that that is also lined up with your 0. There's a little notch there that you want to line up with your 0 because that's what's going to lock in on here. So you just slide those together and you make sure you turn that lock there. Give it a little tug to make sure that it's insecure, but then it's still going to be able to rotate, and that's how it's working. Then you want to use your working element. This is where you'll insert your disposable piece, whether it's a loop or a ball or a roller barrel. It's just going to slide in, and you're going to put it through this guide here, and it will come out the back here, and then it's going to lock into this piece here. You want to make sure you give that a little tug once you have the disposable in there to make sure it's seated. If you need to remove it, you're going to press this black piece, and then it will come out. but you always want to double check that your disposal is inserted and seated and it's not going to fall out before you test that before you give it to the surgeon. Then you'll just insert this. Again, line up your zeros, line up your zeros. It's going to come here and you're going to lock this knob here and it should still be able to rotate and it's going to be secure here. These pieces here are meant to move, so that's good. And then again, line up our zeros in the back here. These are going to be lines versus zeros, but either line up your zero or your lines. And then this is just going to insert in the back and make sure it's seated and locked. And then it's ready to go. One more thing, when you're using your disposables, you are going to use for the 2.9 operative tray, you're going to use a 22 French disposable. So if you match the first number, the 2.9 will match with the last number, 22. So 2 and 2 go together. With the 4mm resection tray, you're going to use a 24 loops. So 24 matches with the 4 tray.